Welcome to another Quarantine Genealogy. This is Esther Camacho with the McAllen Public Library, using city directories in your research. So what is a city directory? It actually predates phone books. It is created by businesses to contact local residents and potential customers, and much more. So why would you want to use a city directory? Well, one, it's published annually versus using a census record, which is every 10 years. It includes more personal information, and again, it can help you determine an individual's date of death. So let's look at a general layout of a city directory. Once you open it up, you're going to see the first inside page, which includes the years that this directory covers, 1936 and 1937, and it gives you a description. It is an alphabetical list of all persons upward 18 years of age, their occupation and address, residing in the city of McAllen, its subdivisions, additions, and in immediate rural area. It includes the number of children under 18, which gives you a more correct census figures, and it goes into some business firms with their personnel and other directories. So after that, you'll run into a miscellaneous information page. Now, these are individuals that are currently in office and their position. So, for example, with the local city government, City of McAllen, tells you the City Hall was located at 1310 Austin Avenue, and it tells you the mayor was A.L. Landry. Now, if that last name Landry is familiar to you, it is the father of the famous Dallas Cowboy coach Tom Landry. It gives you the population figures and when they collected that population figure. It tells you 5,040 Americans, 4,833 Latin Americans, and it tells you that 60% are English speaking, 77 Negroes for a total of 9,950, and including the general greater part of McAllen, there was a total of 12,000. And this was for 1936. Now, one page that's very important is the abbreviations, because you want to know the abbreviations that are next to each of the individuals that you'll run into. So you'll see like ES stands for English speaking, CLK for clerk, and the very bottom, WID for widow. Now, if you're trying to determine the date of death, this is what you're going to look at. You want to look whether they're widow or widower. So once you start going into the directory, it's going to be in alphabetical order, and it's going to include both the business and residential names. Again, it tells you that this is all persons upwards of 18 years of age residing in the city of McAllen and immediate vicinity. Starts with ABC Apartments on 715 Highway, so forth, and then you'll get into some residents. And this is, you've got Abrigo Santiago, his spouse Matilde, the number of children, which is 4, his occupation, which he's a laborer, and his address, that he resides at 1712 and a half Galveston Avenue. And of course, looking for the mayor, I went a couple pages down and found him here, found Landry A.L. His wife is Norma, and he was a part owner of a Brindholz and Landry, which was a drugstore jewelry store. And it does tell us that he is the mayor of McAllen and that he resides at 110 North 12th Street. And of course, if you don't find somebody in the directory, please go all the way to the very end of the disease and go to the addenda. These are people that were added in after they started putting this printing together. So they couldn't add it into each page, so they added to the end. And so always look at the very end to see if somebody was accidentally left out. They do have a section that's a business directory. These are listed alphabetical by the type of business. So you will see the accountants and auditors and who they were. Architects, for example, Gordon Pierce at 2602 Austin. M.L. Waller lived at the Best Apartments. Your local automobile dealers. Another thing, if you have an address but you don't know who actually resides there, then you want to go to the Street and Householder Guide. And it will give you the street name, tells you where they're getting the address from. This is like doing a census, and it gives you the address. This one's like number 13 has Salvador Cardenas. You've got 16 has Guadalupe Cavazos, and the next one has R16, which means at the rear of 16. So there was probably a home behind the other home that Jose M. Cavazos resided in. So where do you find these city directories? You can actually find them online on Ancestry, FamilySearch.org. You could also go to your local library and see if they have any city directories for your city. You could also look at the local university or colleges and see if they have special collections or archives that you can look at and see, but definitely call them first and see what they have and make an appointment before you go there. You can also look at your local museums and see what they may have in their archives and make an appointment with them as well if they do. You can also Google. You can always just do free online city directories. You can say your city, your state, and see what results you'll get. And just kind of refine that and see what's out there. Sometimes universities will digitize items and put them online. So just do a search for whatever town you're looking for and see if it's out there. So just some word of advice. Use these city directories to supplement between the census years. This is the only place where you're going to be able to kind of continue that census by looking at the city directories. So you can see that individual each year and seeing if they're in the same address, if the spouse is gone, if they got a divorce. Sometimes it'll tell you that. So definitely look at that so you can get a more intimate timeline for that particular family. And use it to determine the date of death if there is no obituary or you can't find a death record out there. Use this to kind of determine it when you find that he becomes a widower or she becomes a widow in year 1940. So you know that something happened in 39 or happened prior to the 1940 publishing. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Visit my MPO subject guide. Simply go to McAllenLibrary.net, go to Books and More, go to Subject Guides, and then select Genealogy. Once you're there, you'll see our tabs there, and I constantly add new things. If you have any suggestions for me to research, shoot me an email. Let me know. Again, thanks for watching. I hope this was very helpful. So happy researching.